Good morning, this is KELOLAND on the go. With all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
The University of South Dakota responded to a bomb threat over the weekend, but officials say it turned out to be false.
The university says the threat was phoned in to 911 Saturday evening, prompting emergency response protocols and coordination with Vermilion Police, along with state and federal law enforcement.
After investigating, responders determined the call was not credible and appeared to be a swatting incident. Officials say there was no danger to the campus.
The University of South Dakota Police Department is asking anyone with information to come forward.
Jury selection in a downtown Sioux Falls murder trial begins today.
46-year-old Jubal Rattler is charged with second-degree murder, first-degree manslaughter, and aggravated assault. Rattler is accused of pushing 39-year-old Doris High Elk off a wall near the 8th Street Bridge last summer.
She died from her injuries on July 6th. Court documents say Rattler was convicted of aggravated assault in Minnehaha County back in March of 2020.
An apartment complex fire in Mission, South Dakota has left a vacant building a total loss.
Mission Volunteer Fire and Rescue says crews were notified about the blaze at the Sunrise Apartments shortly before 10:45 Saturday night.
The Todd County Sheriff tells us no one was hurt and the cause of the fire remains under investigation.
Now let's get a check of our weather with Scott, and good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you too there, Travis. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. I tell you what, temperatures to begin this week will be warmer than what we had over the weekend. Numbers today able to reach the 20s, 30s across eastern KELOLAND. That's a lot different than the single-digit readings we had yesterday from Aberdeen to Watertown. Up to 48 in Pierre and 57 today in Rapid City. And Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. A weekend clothing drive helped the St. Francis House collect some overlooked items for guests.
Indivisible 605 and Remedy Brewing Company teamed up to gather socks and undergarments to donate.
It's just been fantastic to be able to help and show up and donate to the organizations that are doing the work. You know, we're just here to try and facilitate and give an option for the community to interact with them and to help support their own neighbors.
Not only did people show up to donate, but Cedagrin says a dog came in carrying socks.
What started as a hobby has grown into a one-of-a-kind store in the Black Hills with 3D sales that stretch across the country.
The owner of Mindless Creations in Sturgis has been capitalizing on the growing popularity of Comic-Cons by creating items like helmets and other gear for cosplayers.
I do custom work for people. It's basically whatever you have, you find something that you like, you say, hey, I want this, but I want it painted this way, and give me a few examples, or just let me loose and go wild and I'll make whatever you like. And I have one over there.
Hale also travels the country selling his 3D printed creations.
A former Sioux Falls Stampede hockey player will return to the U.S. as an Olympic gold medalist.
Jeremy Swayman was a goaltender for the Stampede during the 2016-17 season. Originally from Anchorage, Alaska, Swayman split time with the Herd before moving on to the University of Maine.
He currently plays for the Boston Bruins of the NHL.
He's kind of had to overcome a lot of obstacles. Nothing was just given to him, but the opportunities he was able to get, he took advantage of, and has continued to that to this day to now into the Olympics.
The last time the men's team won the gold medal in hockey was in 1980, the year they beat the heavily favored Soviet Union in the so-called Miracle on Ice game, one of the biggest upsets in sports history.
The Americans followed that win by defeating Finland for the gold medal.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get another check your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, we'll check the weather today with that wind today out of the southeast. It looks like for most of central South Dakota this morning, that wind picking up into Sioux Falls today out of the south and the southeast. That's part of that warm front that is moving through. So temperatures, again, responding to that. We do expect some of those wind numbers tomorrow to increase, but this time it's from the northwest. And look at the coloring there. See that? We've got a push of wind. So I know it's warmer tomorrow, but it also comes with a little catch. The wind is kind of an issue there, and also the cloud cover will be a little bit more of an issue tomorrow. So just some things to think about. But if we can hit 50 in Sioux Falls, that is quite a bit warmer. We get into Wednesday. Well, let's look at Futurecast and flip gears here. We're going to switch over to our precipitation and temperature forecast. So we'll start with day one. We've got today's highs in the 50s in the west. We've got 40s central, 30s southeast, and 20s in the northeast. Overnight, the wind, the clouds will contribute to really a milder forecast. We're not going to be nearly as cold. We're not going to be anywhere close to 0 tomorrow morning. Then the clouds, yes, you can see those 40s in the afternoon, a few 50s in the south. Do we trend with that going into Wednesday? Well, I think right now Wednesday looks a little cooler, and we've been mentioning a chance of some rain or snow, a little. Okay, let's see how that all comes in. If it comes into our forecast, it's going to originate from the northwest. So this system does not have a lot of moisture to deal with. We want to be upfront with you on that. But just the fact it could be a little bit of a wintry combo, that's something we'll, of course, revisit here today. Thursday looks dry. Friday looks dry and warmer, by the way, both days, with Friday being the warmest. That's the day Sioux Falls has a shot at, well, we'll say 55 to 60. It'll be fairly warm. But then we're going to turn the page into the weekend. We already have a snow chance in Aberdeen. I do see some colder weather there spilling south. So the weekend will have a few more talking points. Kind of sounds like a, typical early start to March with ups and downs in the forecast. And that's how we see it here as we see March 1st there at the end of the 7-day forecast. How about that 60 or close to it on Friday, though? There's definitely a few intervals of nicer weather. Normal low now is 15, normal high 35, just to think of that as a reference point. Aberdeen, your high tomorrow 38 with the wind. Little pocket of blowing snow can't be ruled out in the northeast. We're looking at 40s returning for Thursday and Friday. Pierre and Rapid City also will get a nice bounce back on Thursday and Friday. And honestly, for Rapid, it doesn't really cool off much at all on Wednesday with a chance of a shower, but a high still in the low to mid 50s. Check out the rest of the weather online at KELOLAND.com.